You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
It is a first alert weather day. Heavy rain overnight and more expected throughout the morning commute. How it will affect your drive this morning. Overnight, a biodiesel tank up in flames in Manatee County. It has surrounding counties stepping in to help this morning. And this morning, police searching for a motive in a Toronto shooting that left one person dead and 13 others injured. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Good morning, welcome back. It is Monday, July 23rd. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie Webb is off today. John Scalzi's busy though. Wow, a lot of stuff on your radar right now.
Yeah, it's a hot radar, no doubt about it. All along 64 in Manatee County, we're seeing some pretty heavy thunderstorm activity there, and some pretty gusty winds as well, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. Not severe thunderstorms, but nevertheless, it's certainly a disruption to your morning commute, no doubt about that. Now it's sinking southward. It'll be in Sarasota County before too terribly long. As I mentioned, there are some frequent pops of lightning all along 64 from inland areas all the way toward just to the south of Bradenton around Bayshore Gardens. We're seeing some storms begin to build. Also, just moving onshore now in areas of Longboat Key, central and northern Longboat Key up through Whitney Beach. We're seeing some moderate to heavy rainfall at times. All of that part of a larger scale system that promises to bring us a chance of strong storms again this afternoon. Severe Storm Prediction Center puts us in a marginal category for a severe weather event this afternoon. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few. Right?
All right, John, good. Talk to you then. Issue right now, way up in northern Manatee County, I-75 southbound, an accident at the I-275 ramp. That's exit 228. So be aware of that in case you're coming southbound into that section of the roadway. Otherwise, no major delays in Manatee County. Checking farther south now, here's the scene in Sarasota County. University Parkway westbound around Whitfield, some early congestion there. Otherwise, all clear. And then our South County map, earlier issues have since cleared up. Should have a good sail right now. Just watch the wet roads at 6:01 on your Monday morning. We begin now with a developing story out of Manatee County. Firefighters responded to a biodiesel tank fire at Port Manatee last night. The tank went up in flames, causing crews to be called in for hours from other departments. Marla Spence tells us what happened and what's next at Port Manatee. Marla.
Well, Ray, this morning investigators are trying to figure out how exactly a 180,000-gallon biodiesel tank went up in flames last night. Port Manatee security contacted firefighters around 6 last night when they noticed smoke coming from the tank. 55 to 60,000 gallons of palm oil was in that 40-foot tall tank, and we're told flames were tackled by about 40 firefighters. The North River District responded about 19,000 gallons of foam. They had that foam on scene last night, and it took about 32 to 35,000 gallons of foam from the Hillsborough County, the city of Tampa, and the SRQ Airport. Fire Chief Michael Rampino with the North River Fire District says the tank's top collapsed, helping his crews to extinguish the fire with those thousands of gallons of foam. He says the fire started where fuel is loaded at Port Manatee.
It's vegetable, it's palm oil, so no immediate hazard to the environment. Nothing has escaped the tank at this point.
And no injuries were reported at that fire last night. At the top of this morning, fire crews will be out investigating to see how exactly that fire started. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, Marla. Developing story also, Manatee County. The sheriff's office is still looking for a 17-year-old named Joe Claire Just in connection with a double homicide over the weekend. Just after midnight on Sunday, Bradenton police responded to a gunshot victim, 18-year-old Caleb Bowman, who later died at the hospital. An investigation led sheriff detectives to the back of this shopping center along Cortez Road West, where a second victim, 18-year-old Kamundry Pittman, was found dead, also from an apparent gunshot wound. Friends on Facebook were shocked to hear of his death, saying the 18-year-old used to hang out regularly at the Bradenton Riverwalk. We also spoke to a family friend of Pittman, the man found dead at the scene with the apparent gunshot wound. They say he was the oldest sibling, the rock of his family, and went to Bayshore High School and previously played for the football team there. For the latest on this story and breaking news here and around the world, check out our app. It's under WWSB or under My Suncoast. This morning, one woman is dead, 13 injured after a shooting outside a restaurant in Toronto. A gunman opened fire about 10 o'clock last night outside a row of restaurants in the city's Greektown neighborhood. When officers arrived, there was an exchange of gunfire, and that's when the gunman was killed.
I was working inside and I heard about 16 to 20 gunshots, and then just people screaming and scattering.
I heard at least 20 shots, right, in intervals. You know, clip being spent, reloading, clip being spent, reloading, clip being spent. That's what I heard.
Well, this morning, police are still trying to figure out what happened last night and the motive behind this tragedy. New details now on the deadly hostage standoff at a Trader Joe's supermarket in Los Angeles. Police say a dispute between a man and his grandmother triggered the tragedy. ABC's Candace Gibson has the latest on the shooting.
This morning, a growing memorial outside this Los Angeles Trader Joe's. Customers, co-workers, even strangers leaving notes and flowers for the store's manager, Melita Kuroda, who was shot and killed during a 3-hour standoff with police.
Shots fired. Trader Joe's with a black 9mm handgun.
Authorities say it all began as a family dispute in South Los Angeles, where 28-year-old Gene Atkins allegedly shot his grandmother 7 times.
I think the cause of the shooting pretty much has something to do with the girlfriend.
Police say one of Atkins' bullets grazed his girlfriend in the head before he forced her into his grandmother's car and then took off while firing at officers as they followed, his vehicle eventually crashing into a pole outside the Trader Joe's where the gun battle with police escalated.
And then I heard, like 3 or 4 pops in the distance.
Devin Fields, a writer for Jimmy Kimmel Live, was outside the store, only feet away from Atkins after the crash. He says he hid behind a concrete wall as officers exchanged fire with Atkins in the parking lot.
3 officers ran up, knelt down, put their guns on the retaining wall, took aim for a moment, and then opened fire.
After getting shot in the arm, Atkins ran into the store.
He made a series of demands. At all times, our hostage negotiators believed that they had established a good rapport with him.
Several hostages could be seen leaving the store with their hands raised, some using a ladder to climb out of a window. Atkins eventually requested handcuffs from police and surrendered. Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Happening today, that duck boat in that deadly accident last week that killed 17 will be raised from the lake near Branson, Missouri. Investigators are examining the ship's data recorder, zeroing in on the captain and what he told passengers about the life vests on board, or what he didn't tell them. They're hoping it might reveal what happened in the moments before that boat capsized.
We think it'll show what the actions were of the captain, what he tried to do to maneuver the vessel, as well as any instructions he might have been given to the passengers.
The NTSB says Table Rock Lake had 6-foot swells and near hurricane-force winds when the boat sank. Back in this area this morning, an update on an unusual death investigation with an even stranger ending. An autopsy revealed that a Clearwater woman found dead on a Venice lawn back in March was killed by caffeine. Venice police say the night before 23-year-old Megan Bennett's death, she got into a fight with her boyfriend, threatening suicide, and left his house on foot. She later bought 2 bottles of caffeine pills from a nearby convenience store, and the next morning a passerby found her on the lawn of a home a block away. A medical examiner's report said the pills she consumed were the equivalent of 30 to 60 energy drinks. A historic aircraft crashed while taking off from a small airport in Texas after the pilot lost control. There were 13 people on board at the time. 1 person was airlifted to the hospital with burns, 7 others with minor injuries. The antique plane was a Bluebonnet Bell, a World War II-era Douglas C-47 Skytrain. They were heading to an air show in Wisconsin. Looking ahead this week, One Blood is hosting a blood drive on the Suncoast. It'll take place Wednesday morning outside Venice City Hall from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. All donors receive a free One Blood beach towel, a wellness checkup, which includes blood pressure, temperature check, iron count, pulse, and also a cholesterol screening. Still ahead, the Ferguson wildfire in California exploding to now more than 30,000 acres. We'll look at the damage and the evacuations happening right now. But first, here's a peek outside our studios at the situation. Yeah, sheet lightning lit up the sky there, looking southbound. Let's get details of this first alert forecast now from John Scalzi.
Yeah, it's an active weather morning, no doubt about it. First alert weather day, and I think as we head into the afternoon, even though we may get a little bit of a break in these strong storms, they could fire up again later today. Strong storms now moving across the areas of Manatee County between 70 and 64. These storms are producing multiple lightning pops and some torrential downpours. We'll talk about the forecast in a minute.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
Thank you.
You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit HelpSaveTheNextGirl.com and get involved.
ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
It's been a very active weather morning. 76-degree air temperature with a dew point value now at 73. We are going to see fairly heavy showers and thunderstorms for about the next, maybe hour or two. And then things are going to lighten up just a little bit. We'll put the chance of rainfall at about 60% through about 9-10 o'clock, although the intensity of those storms will be lessening through that period. Then as we head into the afternoon, we'll get a little bit of a break, and we'll still have some showers moving onshore, but it'll be more of a typical westerly wind flow like we've seen over the last several days until we get to the evening hours, and then again, we'll have a chance at seeing some stronger storms develop. We had very heavy rainfall move through parts of Pinellas County and Hillsborough County. Strong gusty winds, severe thunderstorms. There have been damage reports coming out of Pinellas County for downed power lines and debris caused by blowing winds, scattering tree branches and such. That is all sunk south and kind of decreased in intensity just a little bit as it's done that. In fact, markedly decreased in intensity as it's done that. We still have some very heavy weather along 64 right into parts of Bradenton, and there are some periods of very heavy rainfall could lead to some ponding on roadways in places, so watch for that. Also down to the south along 70, there are some heavier thunderstorm activities, especially as you move east of Lakewood Ranch. You can expect to see that over the course of the next half hour or so. Then heading south, as you get along 41 in Sarasota County, you're seeing some, plus, as I mentioned, from 70 on the road from Arcadia to areas of Manatee County, you're going to see some fairly heavy rainfall and some ponding of water on roadways there is likely as well. First alert weather warning because of these scattered showers that are around, but I will tell you they are lessening in intensity, which is a very good thing. This afternoon, we have a marginal risk seeing some strong storms, not necessarily tornadic storms. We're not looking at that, but we are looking at the potential of some strong downburst winds that could produce potentially some 50, maybe 60 mile an hour winds under some of the thunderstorms that develop, but the risk is about 5%. So we'll watch that, especially as we head into the 4, 5, 6 o'clock time frame this evening. But the potential exists according to the Severe Storms Prediction Center. So we'll get into a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. A little breaks in the clouds will help heat things up. But that sunshine will help to stabilize the atmosphere. Plus, we'll have little bits of energy that will be moving across the Gulf waters and into the state of Florida around this area of low pressure. Now, the thing is, it's going to be kind of persistent, this area of low pressure spinning around here over the course of the next several days. So while today is a kind of a sloppy commute, I think the next several mornings might feature similar sort of conditions. Some fairly heavy weather is certainly possible for the next several days until we can kick that low pressure out of here as we head into, say, Thursday or Friday of this week. Southwesterly wind flow continues today, gusty at times. There's the next little spoke of energy that may be moving on through as we head into tomorrow. So the forecast for boating today includes elevated winds, but also some pretty rough seas out there, particularly this morning around the areas of these thunderstorms. You know how it works. When these thunderstorms build up in Gulf waters, the seas can rise fast, 3 to 5 foot seas, choppy to a light chop as we head into the afternoon. 60% chance of showers. I'll call it a first alert weather day just because of the disruptive nature of some of these heavier storms. Tomorrow, I think similar sort of situation. And then as we head into the week ahead, by around Thursday, I think, or Friday, we'll start to switch back to a typical summertime pattern. 50% chance of late day storms building inland, moving back toward the coastline. That'll carry us into the weekend. Ray?
All right, John, talk to you again soon. Checking first alert traffic right now. Still an ongoing issue at I-75 southbound at exit 228. Be aware of that way up there in northern Manatee County. Otherwise, a new issue there. We'll click on that one and find out more about that. Situation there at 75 at State Road 64. Yeah, that's in the southbound lane. So be aware of that. 2 issues now, both southbound. Otherwise, pretty good in Manatee County. Farther south, we'll check that map now and looks pretty clear. A little blip there way in the top left corner of your screen, 41 northbound, where it's actually called 14th Street West. As you approach 69th and Bay there, some congestion early on, not too far from Whitfield. And then farther to the south, we'll check our final map and we'll find out that on that particular one, nothing to report. Just be careful of the slow roads, the wet roads as you head out this morning. This morning, there are new evacuation orders in California as the Ferguson fire burns in the Sierra and the Stanislaus National Forest. The fire has now burned more than 30,000 acres, and it's getting closer to Yosemite National Park. Reporter Vanessa Vasconcello has the latest details this morning.
Overnight video from the Madera Police Department shows flames scorching the Jersey Dale evacuation zone. In the video captured while on patrol, you can see hotshot firefighters performing a backburn to protect the close to 100 evacuated homes. The Ferguson fire has exploded to almost 30,500 acres.
Fire behavior has been very, very strong in quite a few areas, particularly during the heating of the day and when the winds pick up.
Ferguson Fire Information Officer Rob Dyerberg says the fire is active in several areas, including the steep, rugged, and nearly inaccessible terrain of the Stanislaus National Forest.
There's only so much you can do and maintain fire safety when you've got the fuels, the terrain, and the weather conditions out there.
With the fire inching its way closer to Yosemite National Park, fire crews have made it their top priority to build strong containment lines. They're also working closely with park officials on safety procedures should flames breach the park's border.
As we've got into the days with different weather patterns and more clearing, the fire has been a lot more active.
With resources coming in by the hour, they're hoping to secure a number of containment lines, but they say they don't know when they'll be able to stop the forward spread.
Scorching temperatures across Japan have killed dozens of people this month, and those numbers are still climbing. At least 44 people have died since July 9th, with 11 this past weekend alone. That nation felt its highest temperature on record yesterday with a reading of 106 degrees near Tokyo. Tokyo is usually at its hottest in August, and that deadly heat may not be over anytime soon. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the search for the gunman who killed a cardiologist. We'll show you a sketch of the suspect when we come back. 6:20 right now. Here's a shot outside our studios. Plenty of sheet lightning right now and a first alert weather morning. John's map lit up with showers right now. We'll recap the forecast and update the news next on Good Morning Suncoast.
Temperatures are rising, and the deals are heating up during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. Get an all-new 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $24,999, or save big and get up to $13,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota.
Clogged pores are disgusting. Introducing Dermasuction, the easy way to suck that yuck out of your pores. Dermasuction removes blackheads and dirt from your pores. Just look at everything it extracts. The secret's the gentle vacuum action. Watch as Dermasuction extracts so much yuck, leaving your skin feeling clean and youthful.
The gunk that had been pulled out, I was pretty horrified, but better in the Dermasuction than on my face.
It's almost addictive because you can see all this stuff coming out of your skin that you don't even really know is there.
Call now to order your Dermasuction for just $19.99. We'll also include our small and large body probes, the Sonic Microdermabrasion probe, and the handy travel case, all absolutely free. Order now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. You can get all this, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-213-9301. That's 1-800-213-9301. Or visit dermasuction.com. So call 1-800-213-9301 now.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night, or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night, and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
A bizarre story out of Denver where a man led a stolen John Deere tractor on a police chase, a slow-speed chase all over the downtown area. At one point, the tractor was traveling on sidewalks, hitting cars and buildings. The chase went on for half an hour and police finally rammed the tractor with a police car.
We were watching it and this tree was in the way right behind you, and there's like a tractor just right behind it, and thump. It's just hard, it just shook and you felt it, and then there was just suddenly 20 cop cars behind, and then just swarm from all directions.
Once that tractor came to a stop, the driver was tased and later taken to the hospital for treatment and evaluation. The search for the gunman who killed a high-profile cardiologist in Houston continues this morning. This is the same doctor who at one point treated the first President Bush. ABC's Whit Johnson has details of a police sketch released now.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the hunt intensifying for the bicycle-riding killer who gunned down a renowned Houston cardiologist in broad daylight. Police releasing this sketch of the man they say rode up alongside Dr. Mark Houseknecht Friday morning and opened fire. Dr. Houseknecht, whose patients included former President George H.W. Bush, was riding his bike to work before 9 a.m. Police say the gunman, wearing a tan baseball cap, sunglasses, gray warm-up jacket, and khaki shorts, fired 2 shots before taking off on his bicycle. Witnesses flagging down an ambulance. The 65-year-old rushed to the hospital, later dying at the same medical complex where he worked for more than 4 decades. And we'll have the latest on the manhunt coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Whit Johnson, ABC News, New York.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats differently. For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And for psoriatic arthritis, Otezla is proven to reduce joint swelling, tenderness, and pain. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Tell your doctor if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment, and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Hunger is a growing problem in our area, and a huge number of Suncoast residents are suffering in silence.
It could be your coworker,
your child's classmate,
or your friend fighting to secure their next meal. But you can help.
ABC7 is partnering with local organizations to help feed the Suncoast.
Go to mysuncoast.com/hunger to join the fight. Help us.
Help the hungry.
I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
It is a first alert weather day. Heavy rain overnight and more expected throughout the day. How it could affect your morning commute. Overnight, a biodiesel tank up in flames in Manatee County that has surrounding counties pitching in to help this morning. And this morning, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office is actively looking for a 17-year-old boy in connection with a double homicide. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Welcome back, 6:30. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie Webb is off today. It is Monday, July the 23rd, and busy day for John Scalzi. Plenty of action right now on the maps.
Yes, indeed, Ray. It certainly has been a very busy morning. About 4 o'clock this morning, there was severe weather up to our north. Now we don't have severe weather along our area, but we do have some very strong storms. Areas of Hardy, DeSoto, and particularly areas of DeSoto and parts of Charlotte County and interior sections of Sarasota County can see some very heavy rainfall, gusty winds in excess of 40, perhaps 50 miles per hour under some of these cells, mostly over rural areas, but nevertheless, over areas that are traveled, especially along 70 between Arcadia and parts of Bradenton. Bethany seeing some heavy rainfall, Verna seeing some heavy rainfall, Lakewood Ranch seeing some fairly heavy rainfall and lightning pops as well. All of this will continue on through the morning hours and through the mid-morning hours before we get a little bit of a break and then perhaps a return of strong storms. We'll talk about those in a minute.
Good idea. Talk to you then. Let's check the traffic right now. I-75 southbound. There's actually 3 different issues right now on our map. Let's first talk about the one at 75 and State Road 64. You want to avoid that if you can. There's a problem also farther north at 75 and 275. That's in the southbound lanes as well. And then farther south, an issue there at University at Lockwood Ridge. So 3 separate issues, all in Manatee County. Let's check farther south now, the northern half of Sarasota County. Not much to report. Some congestion there you might notice on Clark Road westbound as you head toward US 41. And then checking our final map to the south, nothing to report besides a little bit of congestion there on the 681 connector as you head toward I-75. Developing story here, a diesel fire broke out last night in a storage tanker at Port Manatee. Dozens of firefighters have been on the scene. Our Marla Spence tells us what's going on there right now. Marla?
Hey Ray, when North River Fire District responded, crews only had about 1,900 gallons of foam on site last night, but that wasn't enough. Surrounding areas brought in more foam to get that fire out, and those fire departments included the City of Tampa, Hillsborough County, and SRQ Airport Fire Department. In total, it took about 35,000 gallons of foam to extinguish that fire that started in a 180,000 gallon biodiesel tank. Right now, investigators are trying to figure out how exactly that tank went up in flames. Port Manatee Security contacted firefighters around 6 last night when they noticed smoke coming from the tank containing 55 to 60,000 gallons of palm oil. We're told it took about 40 firefighters to tackle the flames. Chief Michael Rampino with the North River Fire District says the tank's top collapsed, causing them to have to back off fighting the fire.
On the first collapse, the first when the integrity of the tank gave way immediately, originally we backed off, got a better idea of what we were dealing with.
Chief Rampino says once that happened, crews were able to extinguish the fire with foam. He says there were no threats to the environment from palm oil in that tank and no injuries were reported. Today, investigators, like I said, will be working to learn how exactly that fire started. Ray?
Well, another big story right now in Manatee County. Detectives looking for a 17-year-old named Joe Claire Juste in connection with a double homicide from the past weekend. Just after midnight on Sunday, Bradenton police responded to a gunshot victim, 18-year-old Caleb Bowman, who later died at the hospital. An investigation led sheriff detectives to the back of this shopping area on Cortez Road West, where a second victim, 18-year-old Kamundry Pittman, was found dead, also from an apparent gunshot wound. Now, Bowman's friends on Facebook were shocked to hear of his death, saying the 18-year-old used to have good fun at the Bradenton Riverwalk, and Pittman went to Bayshore High School, where he also played on the football team. For the latest on this story as it develops and also breaking news around the world, download our app. It's in the App Store under WWSB or My Suncoast. New developments now on a young girl who is fighting for her life after a mass shooting last night in Toronto. This morning, at least one person is dead, 13 others injured. Also, the gunman was killed as well by police. Reporter Andrew Spencer shows us how police ended the melee.
A gunman opened fire just after 10 p.m. Sunday night outside a row of restaurants in Toronto's Greektown neighborhood.
I was working inside and I heard about 16 to 20 gunshots, and then just people screaming and scattering.
I heard at least 20 shots, right, in intervals. You know, clip being spent, reloading, clip being spent, reloading, clip being spent. That's what I heard.
We were having beers inside, so we just heard everything, so everyone was running back to the bar.
Saw people injured. That wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all.
Toronto police say more than a dozen people were shot. When officers arrived, there was an exchange of gunfire. The apparent gunman is dead.
Other than the shooter, we have a young lady that is deceased right now, and we have a young girl, I believe 8 or 9 years old, that is in critical state at this point in time.
Police loaded witnesses onto buses to take them to local precincts to be interviewed. Officials stressed they were still trying to learn as much as they could about the shooter.
Because it's early, we don't have a lot of what has caused the motivation of this, and we are actively investigating that right now. I don't know why he did what he did. He won't be able to tell us because he is deceased.
Police say the shooter used a handgun. Overnight, they were still trying to sort out the details of what exactly had happened. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
A panel is now starting to award millions of dollars to Florida, which received damages from that 2010 BP oil spill in the Gulf. The board for Triumph Gulf Coast voted to give preliminary approval to roughly $64 million in grants to expand aerospace and aviation operations in Northwest Florida. You might recall 8 years ago, an explosion on the Deepwater Horizon oil platform leased by energy giant GP killed 11 workers and caused a blow to the economy of Florida, expected to total about $2 billion. Here on the Suncoast, an upscale development in Manatee County is dealing now with hundreds of dead fish on their shoreline. It's been happening at the Tidewater Preserve on the Manatee River, right across from Woody's River Rue in Ellington. Residents say it began about a week ago and has gotten worse throughout the week. Now, this video was taken a few hours after the initial cleanup. This morning, it is unclear what is causing these fish to die and wash up in the neighborhoods. Construction for a new roundabout starts this week in Manatee County. It's going to be at the intersection of 15th Street East and Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. The construction will close the intersection for about 6 weeks. Latest now on who did well at the box office this weekend, also the upcoming season of Supergirl and a canceled sci-fi drama. Christopher Watson has today's Hollywood Minute.
This ain't one of those times.
The Equalizer 2 won the weekend war at the box office. The Denzel Washington action sequel opened with an estimated $35.8 million. That's a few million better than both the original's debut and the best pre-release sequel estimates, but nobody expected it to open in first.
Mamma Mia, here I go again.
Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again was supposed to do that. It came close, taking second with $34.3 million.
We don't need their heroes.
The upcoming fourth season of the CW Supergirl will feature TV's first transgender superhero. Trans actress Nicole Maines will play the character Dreamer. Supergirl returns in October. USA's canceled the science fiction drama Colony after 3 seasons.
I fear this is about to get weird.
On the flip side, Sci-Fi's renewed Winona Earp for season 4. Amazon doing the same for The Man in the High Castle. And Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe's 29 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
Still ahead, it's been 1 year since we lost Snooty the manatee at the South Florida Museum. We'll look back at last year's tragedy. Also ahead, we'll look at the forecast. Here's right now the scene outside our window. Looks like an overcast sky, but it certainly should be. John has plenty of showers on the maps right now. Yeah. Here's a quick peek at Central Park in New York. There's showers there as well over that beautiful park, Frederick Olmsted Park. But meantime, back on the Suncoast, John, really not much of a sunny coast.
No, it's a very active weather morning, no doubt about it. About a 60% chance of rain for your morning commute. Call it a first alert weather day. Chance not so much this afternoon when we get a little bit of a break, a 30 to 40% chance of showers by 3. But then later this evening, a chance of another round of showers and thunderstorms certainly possible. Watch these heavy thunderstorms sink south, and now just a smattering of thunderstorm activity across the region. Still the potential for some rain showers as we head into the next few hours, but things are starting to wind down. We'll have the forecast for you in just a few.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small. So Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Outback is an IIHS top safety pick for 10 years running. Lease a new Subaru Outback today for just $249 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
You are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help, I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
Meteorologist John Scalzi.
So across the region, we are looking at some pretty sticky conditions out there. Air temperature coming in at 77. We have a dew point value at 73, and we have showers and thunderstorms kind of widespread across the area, but they're in the process of kind of falling apart just a little bit, so we will get a break. Nevertheless, during drive time over the next hour or two, still have about a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Those showers and thunderstorms will start to wind down and bring us some kind of typical afternoon like we've seen over the last several afternoons. Mix of sun and clouds with occasional showers moving in from Gulf waters across the region almost any time, almost anywhere. That sort of situation through 12 to about 3. Then as we head into the evening hours, I think it's quite possible we could see a regeneration of some of these stronger storms and producing again during drive time this evening potentially some heavy rainfall that could produce some flooding rains and frequent lightning strikes as well. So we had lots of heavy activity just to our north. Areas of Hillsborough County, Pinellas County seeing some 60, 65, 67 mile per hour winds under some of these thunderstorms. I mean, tremendous winds gusting and bringing down power lines and spreading debris. Pretty serious stuff. Now as the system is sunk a little further to the south, yes, Manatee County did see some stronger storms. Inland parts of Arcadia, Hardy, and DeSoto are seeing some fairly good activity as well. But a lot of us are beginning to see some of these storms beginning to decay a little bit in intensity. Right now, the heaviest of the stuff located inland of Lakewood Ranch along Fruitville Road into Mayaca City down toward parts of southern areas of Arcadia. Down toward Northport, you're still seeing some fairly heavy rainfall there. All of this moving pretty rapidly to the east at about 30 miles an hour. And under these cells, particularly the ones in Northport, you could certainly see some gusty winds, 20, 30, even 40 mile an hour downburst winds, or not downburst, but rather strong winds coming from some of the thunderstorm cells. So watch for that. If you're going to be on the road, especially toward the bend in 75, it's both hands on the wheels because there could be some ponding of water on roadways as well. Right now, as I mentioned, some of the heavier stuff along Fruitville Road inland of the interstate, producing some moderate rainfall to heavy rainfall there. And then around Lakewood Ranch, we've got some points of seeing some stronger storms, stronger downpours there. All of that gradually drifting inward. And then along Osprey, between Osprey and the Nokomis, we're seeing a moderate rain shower moving on shore. All of this part of a system that will produce perhaps, again, later today, some pretty good gusts. We are looking at an area of central Florida highlighted as marginal risk by the Severe Storm Prediction Center for gusty winds today. Not tornadoes, but gusty winds. 5% chance of seeing some winds that could be damaging winds. So we'll watch for that this afternoon. Kind of a mix of sun and clouds as we head into the day and these thunderstorms start to decay away. That'll bring our temperatures up into the upper 80s once again to close to 90. And an area of low pressure spinning around the Atlanta area, producing these little spokes of energy in the atmosphere that help to encourage these stronger storms. It'll be the case today, be the case probably this afternoon as well, as another little spoke of energy moves our way. And then possibly tomorrow morning we could see the same sort of a situation. So good rain chances today. We'll call it a first alert weather day because of that, particularly this morning and then again this evening. We'll watch for strong storms this evening, and then we'll see a return to our more typical weather pattern as we head into the end of the work week. Probably around Thursday, Friday, particularly Friday. And by that I mean the kind of stuff that we normally see in the summertime, showers and thunderstorms building inland and then kind of drifting back toward the coastline. So for today, a west wind coming in at about 15 to 20. Not particularly great boating conditions. We'll look for 3 to 5 foot seas this morning anyway, and choppy conditions to a light chop a little bit later on this afternoon and into the evening. Forecast calls for this first alert weather day today, this morning, and then again I think this evening we'll call a first alert weather day for some stronger storms. Of course, Bob will have more on that at 4 this evening. 60% chance of rain showers followed by another 60% again tomorrow, and then as we head into Thursday and Friday, kind of a return to our typical summertime pattern. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic right now. 3 separate accidents to report, all in Manatee County. First off, way up north there, I-75 southbound at the 275 interchange there, exit 228, so be aware of that. A little farther south, you'll see I-75 again southbound at State Road 64, where there's an ongoing construction project there. And then our third issue there is on University Parkway at Lockwood Ridge and the Tuttle area, so be aware of that if you're heading east or west on University. Checking our next set of maps, farther south, we'll find out that on the northern half of Sarasota County. All right, we'll check back on the maps in a few seconds here. A recall alert this morning. Ritz crackers might be tainted with salmonella. The recalls for 16 varieties of Ritz crackers. The New Jersey company says the cracker contains whey powder that might be contaminated. Symptoms include fever and nausea. NASA is venturing into uncharted territory. For the first time ever, the U.S. Space Agency will send a mission to the sun. A solar probe is outfitted with carbon composite solar shields to help withstand the heat and atmosphere around the sun. The spacecraft is expected to lift off August 6th from Cape Canaveral on board a Delta IV rocket. If conditions are not right, the launch window remains open until August 19th. Well, it was a year ago today. The big story here on the Suncoast was the death of the oldest manatee in captivity. Snooty died just hours after his 69th birthday on this day at the South Florida Museum. Snooty was found in an underwater access hatch. The access panel that is normally bolted shut had somehow been knocked loose, and Snooty was able to get in but not get back out. He was the biggest draw at the South Florida Museum, certainly a blow to the Suncoast. Still ahead, your top 7 headlines before 7 a.m., and that includes first alert weather. John Scalzi's got an active forecast for you. Here's a peek at the not-so-sunny Suncoast right now outside our studios. The headlines are straight ahead.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Clogged pores are disgusting. Introducing DermaSuction, the easy way to suck that yuck out of your pores. DermaSuction removes blackheads and dirt from your pores. Just look at everything it extracts. The secret's the gentle vacuum action. Watch as DermaSuction extracts so much yuck, leaving your skin feeling clean and youthful.
The gunk that had been pulled out, I was pretty horrified, but better in the DermaSuction than on my face.
It's almost addictive because you can see all this stuff coming out of your skin that you don't even really know is there.
Call now to order your DermaSuction for just $19.99. We'll also include our small and large body probes, the Sonic Microdermabrasion probe, and the handy travel case, all absolutely free. Order now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. You can get all this, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-213-9301. That's 1-800-213-9301. Or visit dermasuction.com. So call 1-800-213-9301 now.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. It's gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, bro. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Morning America, they're kicking off Shark Week. We'll see if Shaquille O'Neal has what it takes to swim with the sharks. That should be fun to watch. But now it's 6:53. It's time for our top 7 headlines before 7 a.m. First off, the all-important first alert weather forecast from John Scolzi.
Yeah, Ray, it's been a busy weather morning. We're still watching this cluster of showers out in Gulf waters that contain some strong winds, perhaps some 30 to 40 mile an hour winds by the time it makes it to shore, and frequent lightning strikes both here and over land at this hour, especially in areas of easternmost Charlotte County. And if you're along the area of the Big Bend in 75 near Jacaranda, north of Northport, you're likely to see some very heavy rainfall along 75. These showers should start to wind down the next hour or two. Of course, we'll be tracking them for you throughout Good Morning America. Back to you, Rick.
Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic. 3 separate issues in Manatee County. You've got one up there north at 75 and 275. That's in the southbound lanes. Also southbound 75 at State Road 64. And then a third one behind our graphic there at University Parkway and Lockwood Ridge. Number 3, fire broke out last night in a biodiesel tank at Port Manatee. 180,000 gallons of palm oil went up in flames in Palmetto. We're told it took about 40 firefighters to extinguish the flames. Number 4, Manatee County detectives looking for a 17-year-old boy named Joe Clairjust in connection with a double homicide. 18-year-old Caleb Bowman and 18-year-old Kamundry Pittman were both killed this past weekend. Number 5, a young girl fighting for her life. 1 woman is also dead, 13 others injured, and a gunman is dead in Toronto after he opened fire in the Greek area of Toronto. Police are still trying to find a motive in this one. Number 6, happening today, the duck boat in that deadly accident last week that killed 17 people will be raised from the lake. Investigators are starting to examine the ship's data recorder, hoping it may reveal what happened in the final moments before it capsized. Number 7, watch this. A coach gives a little boy a baseball, but guess what? The guy in the next row picks it up and keeps it, gives it to the lady next to him, and they're all pleased. The little boy's upset. Cubs saw this all happen, and they gave him, let's see, a baseball, 2 baseballs, autographed baseball hat, big smile, so it worked out for the best.
Good.
How about that guy in the second row, huh?
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
What kind of attitude is that?
What are you going to do with a baseball when you bring it home? Find a kid to give it to after all.
Exactly. Darn.
Gee, I'm
hate
sorry.
to see that. Heard you got it over the plate, though, at Marauders Gang.
Barely.
Well, that's all that counts.
Yeah. What I lacked in speed, I made up for in accuracy. But,
That's good.
Met a lot of our viewers there at the game on Friday at the Braden Marauders. So great time, and lots of folks asking for you.
Plenty of showers and thunderstorms on the forecast today. Make sure you have your first alert weather app. You'll need it today.
We'll see you at 7:25 on the next update.